Visit abbaeservices.com for fast medical transcription service. This podcast episode is brought to you by AB Music Creative.
This episode is brought to you by Dr. Lourdes Capulong.
The Promise has been immortalized by being the song on Napoleon Dynamite. It's like If You Leave for Pretty in Pink, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. What was the feeling? Did you know? Did you have any idea that it was going to be on Napoleon Dynamite?
I was working at a hotel at the time in 2003.
Oh, yeah.
I was working at a hotel called the Radisson SAS at Manchester Airport. And that was a job that really stood me in good stead because I learned how to be with audience. Because I was dealing with events. I was doing corporate events.
Right.
PA systems, lighting, microphones.
They knew who you were?
No, not at all. So I was there.
Look at
so
you.
I'm there at 2003 and I'm still there in 2010 at the hotel. And the people are saying to me, wait a minute, we just watched your film last night and your song. We watched Napoleon Dynamite last night and your song's at the end of it. Why are you here? Why are you at this hotel? I said, well, because I like to work, I like to be doing stuff and I'm not really keen on that because I'm not really, although I've learned to like it now and that's where the hotel came in handy because that's what I dealt with every day is people in front of audiences. I've worked with Bear Grylls, I've worked with lots of different people that have done presentations and stuff and I watched them. The way they work and stuff, and because I watched them, I've learned to be a little bit better than I was on stage because I didn't like it at all. I was very shy back in the day, even at 31 years of age. I wasn't really comfortable on stage. I like this stuff.
Yeah.
I could quite easily lay there tonight and sleep there and get up in the morning and start working on this stuff. Yeah, and that was where I was at. I didn't like it at all. So getting around to the Napoleon Dynamite thing, I was at, so in 2003, I get a call from Michael, who obviously we parted ways in 1991, just before we went out on tour. Andrew and I went out on tour to Brazil. So he phoned me out of the blue at the hotel and he says, Clive, they want to use the song. I've been trying to get hold of you for ages. They want to use the song in a film that's coming up. And so they've made a request to EMI Publishing in 2004. He said it's blah, blah, blah. And we did the deal. And he was phoning me every other day in 2003. Then I didn't even know the film had been released. So I'm back at home in Manchester, at my place in Manchester. And I'm watching the MTV Film Awards. And Daryl Hannah comes running on the stage. He says, forgive me, I'm losing my voice shouting for Napoleon Dynamite. And I thought, if Daryl Hannah's shouting for Napoleon Dynamite, our song's got a bit of a chance. Right. And then, of course, and then I was invited to all the stuff as well. We didn't know it was going to be such a big hit. And I wanted to get to the bottom of why it was such a big hit, why this movie was such a big hit. Because when I watched it, I didn't get it. When I watched it, I thought him throwing that soldier out the back of the bus and I thought it's a wacky movie.
It is,
but I was not into the Beavis and Butthead or anything like that. I was never into that. For me, it got on my nerves a little bit, that stuff. And to me, it was a little bit like that. It was like Butthead on a bus and throwing his soldier out. And I thought I couldn't get it, but I've watched it since, and the more I watch it, the more I love it. Especially when you go and see, because I was invited to LAC. It's called LACMA. I was invited
where
down
the lights
there.
Are,
when they released the Blu-ray copy of the movie, 10-year anniversary, 2014. And I met the film, and in fact, Jared Hess, the director, was doing the.
John Heather was there,
and John Heder was doing the commentary with Jared Hess, the director. Wow. So they were talking about the film, and they stopped it where Uncle Rico gets the steak thrown at him, right? And he has to eat it, and he's a vegan, of course. Uncle Rico's a vegan, and they're all laughing about it. So and then I meet him afterwards, and I said, Jared, what made you choose The Promise for the movie? He says, my wife would have murdered me if I'd not used The Promise.
See?
That was his wife's favourite tune, and it's in such a important spot of the movie, and it's where the guy gets the girl, isn't it? Where he actually they start playing tetherball together, and he's found the love of his life, as it were. And it's funny because later on, a few years later, when I met Pancho and I started working with Pancho, of course he's a film score producer and maker, and he's working right now. He's very, very busy, and he was doing the score for a movie called Tournament, and he asked me to write a song with him about it. And they put it in exactly the same spot in the movie that it was in Napoleon Dynamite. So the guy gets the girl at the end of it. It's about a gaming shop.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tournament, and it's about the gaming industry and this crowd that have got together, and it's all their interactions. And it's so at the end of the movie, one of the guys that likes this girl all the way through it, and then they go outside the shop, and he says, "Do you want to come for lunch?" And we'd written this song called "The One."